Welcome back, my dear. This is video 3 of the beginner's progression. We're learning to crochet amigurumi, and we're learning that through a first progression of ball patterns. Last time with the first 2 videos, we did the ball number 1 in continuous rounds, spiral rounds, and we used stacked increases and decreases. This next ball, we're going to be using continuous rounds again, but we're going to learn to stagger the increases and the decreases. All right, let's get going. I went ahead and printed up a super simple pattern for what we did with the first ball in videos 1 and 2. I didn't feel the need to have a visual for those videos because the math is quite simple to understand. But as we're moving into the second ball, where we're going to skew some of those units just slightly, a visual is going to be really helpful. So let me just review what some of these abbreviations are going to be. In the pattern, you're going to see ST, that'll mean stitch, SC, single crochet, RD, round, INC will be increase, INV, DEC will be invisible decrease. Not everybody puts the INV in front of there because you can decrease without it being the invisible decrease, but this is superior in my opinion, and I've just put that there for clarity. This next one, INV, JN, will be applicable for ball 3, but we're not going to use that in this upcoming ball 2 just yet. Your parentheses are going to be your total stitches at the end of the round. So you would see that here. That's the total amount of stitches after you complete that round. That's going to be the number in those parentheses at the end of that line. Brackets are going to be the unit of stitches to be repeated. So in videos 1 and 2, I was talking about units of 6 to be repeated. You'd see that notated with these brackets. Can you see that there? So in round 3, you'd have a single crochet in one stitch followed by an increase in the next stitch, and that would be your unit. And then you would do that 6 times. Okay? And you can see the nice math going up the ball. After we do our 6 single crochets in the magic circle, you'd increase in every stitch. Then you'd do 1 single, followed by an increase. You'd do 2 singles, followed by an increase, 3 singles, followed by an increase. And then the same on your way back down to closing up the ball. Okay, so super simple. We're going to tweak those units just slightly to stagger our rounds in the next ball. So first ball was continuous rounds with stacked increases and decreases. And next time, this next ball, we're going to be using the staggered ones. Let's get going. Let's give you a visual of what we're doing with our amigurumi ball number 2. We're doing continuous rounds with staggered increases and decreases. Quick note, I use US terminology, US crochet terminology. It's not exactly the same all the way around the world, but I use the US version. And a lot of patterns will be written in that version. So what are we doing here that's different from ball 1? We're still doing the technique of the yarn under, as we did with ball 1 in videos 1 and 2. We're still doing the magic circle. We're going to put 6 single crochets in that magic circle. We're going to do our round 2 the same way, increases in every stitch. Round 3 is the same, single crochet and increase, that unit times 6. Round 4 is going to get changed up a little bit. So if you see here in the brackets, we still have our single crochet times 2 and our increase. We're just going to be doing that 5 times in that way, and we're just going to break up the 6th unit into a single crochet and then an increase at the beginning of the round. And then we're just going to tag on that extra single crochet on the end so that we can stagger those increases so it won't create that hexagonal shape. And I am adding an extra round to this ball, round 6. It'll be a little bit bigger, and I'm doing that just so I can illustrate rounds 4, and then it would be round 6 where we want to stagger that a little bit. So round 5 would be the same as ball 1, just have our single crochets times 3 and our increase, that unit times 6, that'll be the same. And then on round 6 we have single crochet times 4 and then an increase, that's our unit, and we're still going to do that 6 times to go from 30 stitches to 36 stitches. So it's the same progression of increasing by 6 stitches from round to round, but we're just going to break up that 6th unit into 2 single crochets followed by an increase at the beginning of the round, and we're tagging on the remaining 2 single crochets on the end. And we'll repeat that exact same thing but in reverse on the way down with the decreases, okay? So that would be round 13 would mirror round 6, and round 15 would mirror round 4, but just with the decreases on the way back down. All right, so let me show you what that looks like to crochet. I hope you've gotten lots of wonderful practice with videos 1 and 2 on getting started, and you've practiced your magic ring, which is what I'm doing here. And so for ball 2, we're going to go ahead and put 6 single crochets into the magic ring, just like for ball 1. Gonna pull it closed. Stitch there to start round 2. Get our first stitch there, put our stitch marker in, and just give that a nice little extra closing tug. So for round 2, oh, I got a little extra yarn split there. Just gonna bring that all the way through there. I'm gonna try to avoid yarn splitting. That doesn't look good. All right, so that was round 1. Round 2 is just increasing in every stitch. So we have our first stitch of the first single crochet in the first stitch there. So we're gonna put the second one in the same stitch for our increase, and then work all the way around doing that same thing. So 2 single crochets in every stitch, our increases. A little bit tight in the beginning, so just take your time, work those increases in there. My circle's coming apart a little bit there in the middle, which is totally fine. I will give that tail a little extra tug here at the end. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's looking good. Let's take the stitch marker off. Going on to round 3. I'm going to start round 3 off with a single crochet. Put the stitch marker in. Hopefully this is all super familiar by now. And then our units for round 3 are the same for as it was for ball 1. So we're going to do single crochet increase. That's our unit. So this is our single crochet. Next stitch is going to be the increase. We're going to do that 6 times. Single crochet increase. That was unit 1. Here's unit 2. A little trickier to get into these stitches on round 3 because we have ball increases down here, so it makes those previous stitches a little bit tighter. That's okay. Kind of loosen up as we go further into the ball. Single increase, single increase, single increase. All right, last increase there. And that should give us 18, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, yep. All right, let's go on to round 4. Where things are going to change up just a little bit. All right, we're going to do our first stitch in round 4. Put the stitch marker in there. So for round 4, we're just breaking up one of the units into a single crochet, then increase at the beginning. So our single crochet and increase. And then we're going to have a remnant single crochet at the end to complete that unit of 2 singles and an increase. And now it's the same kind of situation as with ball 2. We're going to do just our 2 single crochets and then increase our units 5 times. Okay, so we're going to go single, single, increase, and single, single, increase, increase, single, get a little more yarn here, single, increase, single, single, there we go. Gonna increase to finish off that 5th unit. And then we have one more stitch. So remember at the beginning we just did a single crochet and an increase here at the beginning. So to complete that 6th unit, we've got this remnant single crochet right at the end. And we'll go ahead and do that. All right, let's go on to round 5. Round 5 is the same on this ball as it was on ball 1. So putting our first single crochet into the round, and the units are 3 single crochets and then an increase. That's the unit. We're going to do that 6 times. Single, 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 increase. Single, 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 some more yarn going here. One, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. That's the end of the 2nd unit there. Three. Increase. One. Two. 3. Increase. One, 2, 3, increase, and final unit. 1, 2, 3, and increase. All right, that should all be very familiar. Yeah. Okay, let's do round 6, which is going to be slightly different. Okay, so for round 6, you haven't done a round 6 before, but it's the same progression, same math. Every time you're increasing the size of the ball, you're just gonna add a single crochet to the unit that you did the round before. So we just did 3 single crochets and an increase for round 5 all the way around. Now the units are going to be single crochet and then an increase for round 6. But because we want to stagger the increases, we're going to break up one of those units. So we're going to start with 2 single crochets. So we had that first one where the stitch marker is, and we have our second single crochet. Then we're going to do an increase, and we're going to leave those remnant 2 single crochets to tag onto the end. So we're just breaking up that one unit. So single, single, increase, and at the end we're going to have 2 singles. Now we're just going to do the straight up unit, 4 single crochets and then an increase. We're going to do that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. 1, 2, get some yarn, 3, 4, increase, 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 1 more of those units. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. And then we have the remnant 2 single crochets here left over from that split up unit. It's still gonna come out to 4 single crochets and an increase. We're just putting 2 single crochets up front with the increase and then finishing off with the remnant 2. So it's gonna come out to the same situation, okay? All right, so This is staggering, basic staggering of the increases. For rounds 7 through 12, go ahead and single crochet all the way around in every stitch, okay? And I'll see you back here. All right, my dear. Hopefully you have completed your rounds 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Just single crochets in every stitch all the way around. All right. Now let's go on to round 13. And I want to show you the, oh, I lost that last little stitch there. I'll just go ahead and read that one. I want to show you the tweaks in units for the decrease rounds. For the staggered version, basic staggered version of this ball. All right, so round 13 is going to mirror round 6 with decreases now as we're heading down to make the bottom of the ball. So we're going to do single crochet times 2 and then an invisible decrease. Single, single, and then we're going to do the decrease. And then that's going to be part of that one unit that's going to be broken up, and we'll have 2 remnant single crochets at the end. And now we're going to do our single crochet times 4 and an invisible decrease as our unit for round 13. And we're going to do this unit 5 times because we broke up that 6th unit, right? So we're going to go 4 decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to decrease. That unit we're going to do 4 more times. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, and decrease, invisible decrease, right? Just the front loops there. Gonna grab a little bit more yarn here. One, 2, 3, 4, decrease, 1, come on, 2, 3, 4, and we're decreasing, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're decreasing. Okay, that was 5 of those units. Now our 6th unit was broken up, right, into the single, single, and then decrease at the beginning, and so we need to pick up our last 2 single crochets from that 6th unit that we broke up right here at the end. Okay, so it's that same idea as what we did with the increases, right? We just broke up 1 unit. And this is a basic staggering technique that I'm showing you here. With the next ball, we'll get a little more advanced because we're going to be doing joined rounds, and that changes it up a little bit. But If you understand that staggering the increases and decreases just means breaking up a unit here or there, but you still understand the math is going to add up to the same at the end, that's the important thing, okay? Round 14 is going to be straight up 6 units of single crochet times 3 and then an invisible decrease. So 1, 2, 3, decrease. We're going to do that 6 times. We're not going to break up any of these units because we're breaking up the previous and the following rounds. We got 1, 2, 3, decrease, 1, 2, 3, decrease, 1, 2, 3, decrease, 1, 2, 3, decrease, and 1, 2, 3, and a final decrease. Now this lines up really great. Don't have any leftover stitches or too few stitches to complete all the units. If you get to the end of a round and you're like, wait a minute, there's an extra stitch or there aren't enough stitches to complete, go back, count it off, see where you might have missed something. And if you need to go back, all you do is pull on this thread. They call it frogging in the crochet world because you rip it out, rip the stitches out. So it sounds like ribbit, right? And so they call it frogging. And it's a natural part of crochet. There's bound to be something, you know, at some point, or even often. And then you just pick it back up and fix the issue. But yeah, frogging, it's a term that you'll hear as you crochet, and you will need to frog here and there. So if you get to the end of the round, don't despair if something doesn't line up. You can figure it out. Okay. And that was round 14. Let's go on to round 15, where we will break up a unit. All right, we are on to round 15, where we'll break up a unit. This will be the last round where we do that before closing off the ball. So, bump the camera there. A little jiggle. Quite something to tape crocheting. It's quite different than when you're not filming. All right, got a little fuzzy there, that's okay. All right, so for round 15, we're going to break up 1 unit of the single crochet times 2 and then invisible decrease. We're going to just do 1 single crochet, that's our first stitch, and then we're going to do a decrease next. And we're going to leave a remnant single crochet for the end. And now we're going to do 5 units of single, single, decrease. All right, so let's do that. We've got a single, single, and then a decrease. That's the unit. We're going to do 4 more times. We've got a single. That one's a little tighter. There's a decrease behind that. All right, single, single, get my yarn fixed here. Decrease. Single, single, decrease, single, single, decrease, front loops only for that invisible decrease. All right, so we've got single, single, decrease. That's that final unit, and then we have our one remnant single crochet from that broken up unit. It's still gonna equal 2 single crochets and a decrease, but we just put 1 single up front, then decrease, and then the other single crochet to finish up that round, okay? So that was round 15. I'm gonna go ahead and stuff this with some cotton balls. Please do the same and I'll meet you back here. All right, my dear, I have stuffed this ball to a large degree, not super tight just yet because we have another round to go. So did that initial general stuff with the cotton balls. And we're just going to do this finishing round of 6 units of single crochet and then a decrease. So this is our first single crochet. We're going to do a decrease. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease, tighter here so I don't have big old holes or gaps. Getting a little more yarn going. Single crochet. Decrease. Single crochet, decrease, and then a final single crochet, and decrease. Okay, we're just gonna stuff a little bit more here. sure we... So now we are going to close off with the needle, the yarn needle. We're just going to bring this through there, cut the yarn with a nice long tail, pull it through just like with ball 1. And let's go ahead and do the final detail stuffing here. Make sure we fill everything out before we close up the ball for good there. Make sure it's nice and even. Any lumps you want to pull apart. Feel your way where it might need a little bit more, or if there are any lumps, pull those apart. It's getting there. Feeling pretty good there. Yay! Amigurumi ball. All right, let's go on to closing this up with the yarn needle. Alrighty, and this is the same technique. We have our 12 remaining stitches. We're just going to use the yarn needle to go through the outer loops of each of those 12 remaining stitches. Just kind of pulling a little bit as we go. This should be familiar from video 2. And then we'll take a look at the finished product, what we have, and how those staggered increases and decreases have lent themselves to a smoother amigurumi ball. Stay in there stuffing. It's a little tight in there. Why are you tight? Must be particularly tight decrease. Must have pulled a little too tight on that decrease. That's okay. We'll work with it. All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull that all the way through. Tighten it up. And if you remember from video 2 as well, we want to try and go into these stitches around here to ensure that ball is not going to open up. And I'm just going to go around and continue closing this off, and I'll meet you back here to take a look at the final product. All right, so This is our finished staggered ball in continuous rounds. This was our first one. It's smaller because we only did 5 increase rounds on this one. We did 6 on this one because I wanted to illustrate the breaking up of units. But as you can see, it's quite a nice, smooth, rounded situation. A little bit better than if you stack the increases and the decreases. It smooths out some of those little bumps, just that little bit, which makes it nice. Now, a lot of patterns are going to be written in continuous rounds with staggered increases and decreases. Okay, so you really do want to know how to do this. With continuous rounds, you do have a spiral shape going on, which does create, especially towards the back, some areas where you can see it kind of is a little bit higher and then it kind of goes a little bit lower on one side. So it's a little bit slanted lines in places. It's very slight, but that does happen when you work in continuous rounds. And I have experimented with different techniques, and I really love the symmetry of working in joined rounds because it mitigates that that slant. It creates a little more symmetry toward the back, and I will show you that with the next ball. Because we're going to learn how to do joined rounds and a little bit extra staggering to create a mostly invisible seam, but nice and straight and for the added symmetry. So that will be next time. Excellent work. Keep practicing, and I will see you back here. Bye-bye.